examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's
Shane Begum with you on this Monday, July 3rd, 2023. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, coming to you live from the Chinese capital. On today's program, the grandmother of the French teenager shot dead by police is calling for calm. There's a mixed reaction in Mali after the UN announced the withdrawal of peacekeepers by the end of the year. Many summer travelers in China are seeking meaningful experiences that connect them with local communities. In business, China's smaller companies reported continued growth in June. In sports, Chinese women's basketball team breaks its title drought. In culture and entertainment, the annual Gateway to Arts 2023 Summer Festival. Now checking the day's top stories. Authorities in France have arrested more than 700 people on the fifth night of rioting as angry crowds protest the killing of a teenager. Additional security forces are deployed in the worst-hit cities. The ongoing unrest has affected tourists and holidaymakers. Wang Jiwei has more.
Another wave of violent protests sweeps across the nation. Looting, fires, and a burning car to attack the home of a local Paris mayor. The demonstrators have been enraged by the death of 17-year-old Nahel M. of North African descent. He was shot dead by police at a traffic stop in Paris on Tuesday. Even after his funeral, the fallout from his shooting is still being felt hundreds of kilometers away in the city of Marseille, where police fired tear gas and fought street battles with protesters.
The police in French is racism.
There's a lot of looting here in France, because what did they do? They shoot at us, and we loot for revenge.
The state did not back down, with 45,000 more police officers being sent out onto the street. President Emmanuel Macron has postponed the state visit to Germany that was due to begin on Sunday. Amid the chaos, countries including China have warned people of the risks of traveling to France, with reports that a bus carrying 41 Chinese tourists was badly damaged in an attack by rioters in Marseille. Summer holidaymakers may have to rethink their plans as the current wave of turmoil across the nation continues.
That was Wang Jiwei reporting. The grandmother of the teenager shot dead by police says she wants the nationwide rioting triggered by the killing to end as France braces for a potential sixth night of unrest.
I'm angry with the police officer who killed my grandson. That's all I'm angry with. We have the police, and lucky for us that we have the police. And people who are breaking things, I tell them, stop it, stop it. They are doing this with Nile as a pretext. No, people should stop. They should stop. They should not break store windows. They should not ransack schools.
45,000 police officers deployed again overnight to deter rioters who've torched cars, looted stores, and targeted town halls and police stations. The teen's grandmother, identified as Nadia, says the rioters were using the 17-year-old's death as an excuse to cause havoc, and the family wants calm. The riots amount to the worst crisis for French President Emmanuel Macron since the Yellow Vest protests gripped much of France in late 2018. The German Chancellor says his country has been following the situation in France with concern. Olaf Scholz says acts of violence are not acceptable.
We cannot have acts of violence being committed. And at the same time, it's always the case that we must do everything so that cohesion in our societies works well.
Scholz says he believes France will be able to resolve the issue with the protesters and understands Emmanuel Macron's decision to postpone what would have been a first state visit by a French president to Germany in 23 years. 2 people are dead and 28 injured in a shooting in Baltimore, Maryland. The incident happened at a neighborhood party with hundreds of people. Officials have urged the community to come forward with any information. Karina Mitchell has more.
This all started when police in the area started getting multiple calls about gunshot fire in the 800 block of Gretna Court, and 30 victims were involved. 9 were transported from the scene to area hospitals. 20 others actually made their way to area hospitals on their own. We do know 4 of the victims involved are children, and that from a statement from the University of Maryland's medical system spokesman. Now, people all day have been extremely rattled, but we did speak to one woman who said that her nephew died as a result of this incident.
By the time I got the phone call, it was 5 this morning that he was gone. Okay? I don't know what happened. I was gone. I don't know. One thing I know is my daughter wasn't there. I told him to stay home. Too much was happening. These videos are surfing on the internet. These kids are finding it funny. There's nothing funny. Nothing funny about this.
Now, investigators are still working to try and determine who the suspect or suspects are in this case and what the motive was. And they're asking for cooperation from the public. Baltimore's mayor also weighed in on this. He said this is a working-class neighborhood and people here don't deserve this sort of treatment. He called the event that happened here reckless, and he said it happened in the midst of a celebration.
We have some folks who wanted to act like cops, who are carrying guns that they probably shouldn't have, that probably don't even come from the state of Maryland. Maybe they were a ghost gun, but we know that we're going to not rest until we find these individuals and hold them accountable.
And this all comes as federal prosecutors have been touting a push to reduce violent crime in the area. So far, there have been 130 homicides in the Baltimore area, 300 shootings. That is less cases than at the same time a year ago.
That was Karina Mitchell reporting from the scene of a shooting in Baltimore. And coming up, Mali reacts to the UN's announced withdrawal of peacekeepers.
The Beijing Hour. The Beijing Hour. The Beijing Hour brings you an hour of comprehensive news and information from both China and the rest of the world. A mix of news, sports, and entertainment. In-depth analysis of the day's big stories, as well as the most comprehensive business of the day. The Beijing Hour. Your very own